Hey all. So analyzing organic traffic versus search engine algorithm shifts is a really important component of due diligence to really get a great view around how volatile a site is over time and if it potentially has staying power in the long term for whatever category or niche that you're looking at. Now, when paired with the traffic analysis that I've gone over in some different videos around traffic by topic, by channel, by landing page, by keyword bucket, this will give you a really comprehensive view of how traffic has ebbed and flowed over time and pretty much everything that you need, obviously paired with content analysis, link analysis, and all the other elements of due diligence to really make a confident investment thesis around whether or not you want to buy the site and what the risks and opportunities are associated with potentially purchasing the asset. So we're going to go through a couple of examples in this video to show you some ways that you can look at performance versus algorithm shifts and really just some of the questions that it brings up during the diligence process and how that informs your investment thesis. So we're just jumping into Ahrefs here. If you don't have access yet to first-party data in Google Analytics or Google Search Console, ideally Google Search Console to get organic traffic data for the site that you're analyzing and the keyword footprint that it plays on, this is a good tool to use to look at performance versus algorithm shifts. Again, you can use SEMrush or any other platform that you're familiar with as well for this type of analysis. But really, where we're going to start here is just in the overview report and looking at how traffic has ebbed and flowed over time. So we're just looking at an example, carbibles.com. Here you can see this site fell off an absolute cliff in December 2020 where Google rolled out a core update. It's been adversely affected by a few other updates as well. May 2020 core update, and then you can see here the another January 2020 core update. There it is. And just the site's performance against those. So one, if you have not used this feature in Ahrefs or SEMrush, super useful just with data overlays, or excuse me, text overlays on the data here for when these algorithm shifts happen. I recommend exporting all of this stuff into a Google Sheet or spreadsheet. And then ideally you can just plot those dates yourself or mark them for whenever the site has been affected, whether it's positively or negatively, and just discuss a lot of that with your team and dig further into what has potentially caused a lot of that volatility. But really what we're trying to find out here is what happened around these big peaks and valleys within the traffic performance of this site. Now, I use this example because it's a very drastic one of a major traffic decline across several different core updates. But also, this is a site that Recurrent Media bought, I believe, right around this point after the first dip here. And as you can see, since they bought it, it's gone nowhere but down. So a really bad beat on this investment. And I believe that if they did some deeper due diligence on some of the elements that I cover in this video and other ones around link analysis and content analysis, there are probably some red flags that maybe made this site not the most attractive investment. Obviously don't want to speak for the team, but certainly some really big red flags on this site, and something that you can do some easy algorithm shift analysis here to really understand where a lot of those traffic drops are coming from, and if that is something that you're comfortable with as a business, or does it potentially signal a lot of future volatility and red flags within this site's organic traffic footprint. Starting in the overview report here, and then really where we're going to do the bulk of our analysis is in, you can use the top pages report for a little bit higher level analysis, and you can also export all of this stuff and then pull in categories and content types like I've shown in my traffic by topic and traffic by landing pages and keywords videos. But we're gonna choose to go into the organic keywords report just so I can show you all how to use some of the filters and just tools that are available within the UI here to do some quick algorithm update analysis. Obviously, you want to, I think, go as deep as you need to on all of these different peaks and valleys for whatever site that you're analyzing to make sure that you get a really full picture of what happened on each of those different updates or just periods of time where the site that you're analyzing saw a lot of volatility. Ideally, though, when you're looking for potentially attractive sites to buy, the organic traffic curve is very, flat or consistent and generally doesn't have a lot of choppiness. Although there are going to be some good buys that do have a lot of choppiness, and I think I'll go over some examples in a different video. But I think some of the reasons where you may still want to buy a site and it has a lot of choppiness in the organic traffic profile over time is potentially a site that ranks on a lot of big brand terms with a lot of news content, or it's just is in a lot of landscapes where intent shifts often on some big volume keywords that you don't necessarily care about a ton in terms of business value for your business and your company. So I'm going to shift over to a different example here on choosing therapy. So this site is in the mental health niche, which is a very popular one for a lot of affiliate sites and other publishers that are doing reviews on online therapy, sending leads to local therapists and things like that, and just monetizing in different ways. Meditation apps also really popular in this space. But this site basically focuses on online therapy and therapy services. So it's been on quite the tear over the past couple of years, but did experience a little bit of a downturn in this most recent link spam and helpful content updates that rolled out in December. So we're going to take a look at the organic keyword footprint here and really understand what terms this potentially came from, what pages this potentially came from, and if that's something to be concerned about long-term for the site. And obviously, you don't want to look at just this analysis in a vacuum. You want to pair this, like I said, with your content quality analysis, link analysis to understand what were the potential smoking guns for this drop. This is really just to help you inform where to dig with further analysis and kind of quality judgments during your due diligence process. So we're just going to jump over to the organic keywords report. And then you're going to do a few filters up here to really understand where this site fell versus previous updates. So like I said, we're analyzing choosing therapy where it was pre-December, early December when those updates started rolling out, and now. So you can use this comparison feature here to look at previous month, previous 3 months, previous 6 months, or a custom date. I'm just going to use previous 3 months just because I think that's a decent benchmark here just based on the previous peak and the valley that it's in currently. But whatever update that you're analyzing, looking at that specific period, so you can change the one that you're analyzing here as well. And then making sure your comparison date is at the peak or valley that you want to compare to in its historical traffic chart. So we're just going to keep this like that. And then what we're going to do is under position, we're going to look at lost or declined keywords, which is essentially the ones where they lost traffic. And so we're going to hit apply there and then show results. And then you could also do something where like they were previously ranking in the top 10 or top 20 or something like that to get a good look at what were some of the most impactful terms that they lost traffic on. What I'm going to do is just simply change the sort on the chart here to look at the biggest negative traffic change time over time. And so you can see here that they have a lot of what I would consider intent ambiguous terms that they're potentially dropping on. So this could be an intent shift that Google rolled out, or it could be a content quality issue or something like that that caused this decline. But essentially, I'm just taking inventory on what some of these top terms were that they dropped on, and then looking at those individual landscapes to understand what potentially changed there. Were there a lot of large media publishers that came in and Google's rewarding the kind of larger authority sites versus more niche category specific sites? Is there a potential shift in intent where it's just the types of pages that we're ranking that changed a lot based on how Google thinks what users are trying to search for that term, which often happens for a lot of like one-word searches or just stuff where intent is a bit tough to figure out and ambiguous, like I said. Or was there potential link quality issue, right? That link spam update rolled out in December as well. And could be something going on with the link profile where Google just devalued a lot of stuff that was potentially pointing into these URLs. And so really this is a jumping off point for further analysis, looking at specific keyword landscapes, content quality, link issues, other potential smoking guns for why this change happened. So I'll typically export this stuff and then just, again, take inventory on what those changes were and use that as a really good foundation to pair with a lot of my other traffic analysis. Like I said, on channel level, topic level, and then keyword and landing page level to understand what's going on with this site. Are these changes that I should be concerned about? Is this a potential signal to future volatility that could happen in the space, whether it's just getting more competitive or Google's just not liking the site anymore? Or are there any other potential opportunities or risks that are associated with this site that I'm looking at? And like I said earlier, some of the peaks and valleys may not be concerning at all to you because it's on terms that Google's just shifting their intent and they're not that important from a business value perspective, or they're just on terms that really you don't care about all that much and don't really impact a ton of the rankings and traffic that you see on like the most important categories on the site, as an example. So looking at some historical snapshots of that traffic by topic analysis compared and pairing that up with this algorithm shift analysis can be really great to understand what categories and topics are moving and shaking across the site over time as well. So anyways, download this guy, look at those individual keyword shakeups. You can dive into the Keyword Explorer and look at historical snapshots of who's ranking in the top 10 for each one of these as well, to understand who's getting rewarded and what sites are falling in each of those landscapes, and what types of articles are in those landscapes as well. But generally a great analysis to perform and something that you generally just want to have paired with the rest of your topical analysis and traffic by landing pages, keywords, and all that other good stuff. One thing actually that I also forgot to mention when we were on the overview slide that I think is important is if you are also looking at not just one site, but maybe a portfolio of sites from another parent company. So let's say that you're looking to acquire a group of assets, a group of sites, maybe it's 4 or 5 sites in the same niche or related niches. Doing this type of analysis and comparing each of those sites in the portfolio is also really important to understand, are they affected by the same updates? If there is a really similar traffic curve or just a lot of correlation between how sites in the same portfolio and you're considering buying the entire portfolio potentially, if one of them falls, do they all fall? If one of them rises, do they all rise? I think that's an important part of risk diversification when you're potentially buying multiple sites at once. So definitely something to consider. Compare the sites that you're looking at within the portfolio. I think different approaches to each site can help naturally diversify risk. If you're looking at acquiring a group of sites that's potentially in related niches or potentially even in the same niche as well. So I'll dive into more of that as well around owning multiple sites in the same category in a different video. But yeah, algorithm analysis, super helpful when you are looking at doing traffic deep dives for a potential acquisition during the due diligence process. Like I said, pairing that up with your traffic by topic, landing page, and keyword bucket analysis can really give you a holistic view of how stuff is performing and really set the context for doing a lot more deep dives on content quality, links, monetization, and everything else in between for whatever site that you're looking at. So y'all let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.